Hey guys, welcome to the channel and welcome back to another video. Welcome to a live. Let me see if I can hear myself. As you come in, guys, let me know where you're coming from, what city, what state, what county, what country, what continent are you on. Let me know, guys. I always like to get a feel for where everybody's at. If you're watching me on YouTube, good to have you. Great to have you. If you're watching me on X, good to have you. If you're watching on Facebook, good to have you. Glad to be here. Glad to be on. If you're watching on LinkedIn, glad to be here. Good to have you. This is just going to be a regular guy's advice on life and money show today, guys. No particular subject that we're going to jump into. Doesn't have to be money, doesn't have to be, could be life, could be anything. You name it, we'll talk about it on this video. Guys, let me know that you can hear me by giving me a thumbs up in the chat. And I'm going to try to keep my overactive tear ducts in check, right? Got a little water over here. And we're just going to talk, have some conversation, guys. No particular money topic today. Just a matter of us having a conversation. And you got to let me know, though, that you can hear me. Give me a thumbs up. Thanks, Mrs. Moore. Always in the house. Appreciate you being here from Atlanta. Thank you so much, Mrs. Moore. Let's see here. Gray Man was in here early. Art of War was here extra early. Kimmy Apple's here. Good to have you. San Antonio. Kimmy Apple's in San Antonio. What is that? The River Walk, right? Watch Me Thriving is from Minnesota. Hello, how are you? Mia or Maya is from Atlanta. ATL Romania is in the house. Marius is checking in. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate your support, Marius. Good afternoon, everyone. Hope your day is a joyous one. Atlanta, everybody's in Atlanta. What's going on here? We got, 3 people in a row from Atlanta, DeKalb County. Is it DeKalb County or what's the other one right there? Let's see here. Pam Merle. Good to have you here. She's in Atlanta also. That's 4 Atlanta folks. Goodness gracious. Chad first checking in from Visalia, California. And thank you for the thumbs up. Memories in action and RE. Appreciate it. Thanks, Grayman. Looks like we got a good connection. And we're just going to have some fun. And if you're watching me on other places, feel free to go over to YouTube. Feel free to check out what we're doing over there because I got some stuff in the description box that you can check out, as I always talk about. But this is a wide open forum today, guys. It's a wide open forum because I just want to I did a poll. I did a poll in the community tab on YouTube a few days ago, and I said, what would you most likely do or like to see? A lot of folks said, hey, let's just have a talk about anything, advice about life in general, or throw some money stuff in there. So I said, let's just do a Saturday when we leave this thing wide open and we can just have conversation. You guys can ask me anything in the world, right? Doesn't matter. Your choice. You decide what you want to ask. There's no set forum. A lot of times when we have a topic, I kind of like to stay on topic and so forth. But today, no topic. No topic at all. We're just going to have some fun. If you have a question, put a Q in the chat. It'll help me out. And let's just talk. Now, I always have stuff I can talk about, right? I always have stuff. I get questions I get emails a lot, and I get people asking me questions all of the time. So I can definitely come up with a question to jumpstart us. But as you come in here, guys, again, let me know where you're coming from. I think we got a strong connection. Charleston, South Carolina. I've been through South Carolina, up and down I-95, Myrtle Beach area. I've been through there on my way from Florida up to North Carolina somewhere, but driving. But I have never stopped in South Carolina. I heard a lot of good things about South Carolina. And as you know, the Great Migration happened. I'm a genealogy guy. In case you guys, I never talk about it, but I'm really into like family history and geology, right? Not geology, but genealogy. So all the Great Migration, right? I'm in the Midwest middle, but my mother and father came from Mississippi. And prior to Mississippi, because everybody flooded Mississippi in the 1820s, 1840s, 1860s, right? Looking for work coming west. But most of us originated in South Carolina, North Carolina, Florida, not all of us, a lot of us, right? And then we just moved west. So before Mississippi, I have family from South Carolina in the 1700s. Several of my ancestors. Tulsa, Oklahoma's in the house. Good to have you, Curtis. Good to see you, brother. Let's see. Tyrus is in Detroit, Michigan. What's that county that Detroit's in? Investing at 60 years old. Grayman, congratulations to you for that. Absolutely. That's a blessing. Salute Jay Samuels. Tell me where you're at, Jay. Torian is in, yes, sir. Torian said, Charleston and Savannah. Absolutely. Right. Absolutely. A lot of the ships that my ancestors were dropped off on from West Africa to the Americas got dropped off in South Carolina, no doubt. Toronto's in the house. Good to have you here. Question, memories in action. How do you build extra money into your checking account? Ooh, that's a good question. Memories in action. She jumped it off with that one. I appreciate that question. Hey, memories in action. Here's what you do. If you want to build an extra margin in your checking account. When you say checking account, do you mean in your budget or in your checking account? I mean, as far as a checking account, you can always do a sinking fund or some type of extra fund for large purchases if you want to build some extra money into your checking account. But if you want to build extra money into your cushion of money that you have every month that you can, save with, that you can put towards your emergency fund or you can invest with, that's a matter of just a few things, right? Make more money, bring in more income, or spend less, right? That's how you can build that cushion. Find ways you can spend less, find ways you can make more. Do both of those, right? Don't just say I'm a spend less. But if you spend less, go ahead and try to make a little extra money and try to really get that cushion big. If that's what you were talking about, memories in action. Let me know if that's what you were talking about, and I can be a little more thorough. Lisa's in Denver, Colorado. Denver, Colorado. I've been to Denver a few times. Something about Denver I'm not a big fan of. I don't know what it is. There's an aura around Denver that is a little bit strange to me when I go there. I feel something. I'm not a big fan of Denver, but I'm a big fan of you, Lisa. Glad to have you here. Thank you for being here. Jay is in Baltimore. Be more. Absolutely, Jay. Good to have you. Jay, Baltimore, right? PG County. What's the other county up there? Begins with a C. But Baltimore is a good place to be. I have not been to Baltimore, but I've been to DC several times. I want to get to Baltimore at some point. Har said, how can I get more money? Har, I just gave you two ways when I was answering the question for memories in action. You need to make more, or you need to spend less, or do both. Specifically, Har, ask me a specific question. I can dig into that because I want to make sure I answer whatever you want to ask. But give me really, really specifics. I started investing in VU with an $1,800 initial investment with a reoccurring deposit of $10 a day, roughly $300 a month. That's pretty good, Deborah. Let's see. I'm 54 and trying to work on my savings. Congratulations to you, Deborah. Yes, build up that savings so you can start putting money towards that investments, right? 54 is still fairly young, right? I'll be 54 in just a few months. So 54, we got a long way to go, right? Just got to make sure we stay physically healthy, and we got a long way to go. And you got lots and lots of years of investing in front of you. And I'm proud of you too, Deborah. Congratulations. She says, I'm proud of myself for taking the plunge, but scared too. Hey, you got to do it scared, right? Got to do it scared, right? I was a little nervous when I'm gonna get these tear ducts together. I promise you, because I don't like to look like I'm crying on the camera. But Deborah, I was scared when I hit record just a few minutes ago. Right, you're gonna be scared, but sometimes we just got to do things scared. Right, we just got to do things that are actually when we don't feel comfortable, when we don't feel good, we don't feel right. So, we still got to go forward if we're doing the right thing. Right, if we're doing the right thing, just go ahead and keep going, even if you're nervous about doing the right thing. Right. But if you're nervous about doing the wrong thing, right, then that's when your intuition wants to jump in and say, maybe you shouldn't do this. And you got to always listen to your intuition. All right, Curtis, what are some great barbecue places in the Kansas City area? I like that question. Great barbecue places. There's Jack Stack, but then there's the traditional Gates barbecue. There's a bunch of other ones. Kansas City is kind of known and famous for its barbecue. You got Smokestack. I mean, I think the one that I like the best is Gates, but Gates barbecue's been around since the 1930s. I also like Arthur Bryant's too. And Arthur Bryant's was one of the original barbecue places in Kansas City 100 years ago. And then it kind of branched off. One of the workers there started his own deal, and that's called Gates Barbecue in here in Kansas City. And then Jack Stack is one that everybody likes. So there's a number of them. I'm a Gates person, but I like Arthur Bryant's too because I like that sauce that's not real sweet. But believe it or not, I don't eat beef. So if I go there to be some turkey or something like that, some baked beans or something like that, but I try to not, I kind of work around the meat in the baked beans, but I'm not a meat eater, but a big meat eater. So appreciate that question, Curtis. Absolutely. Canapolis, where's Canapolis at? Never heard of it. Okay, you're welcome. Memories in action. Appreciate you. What's better, a hedge fund or a brokerage account? Have a brokerage account. Hedge funds are dicey. They're speculative, right? You can make money in them, but let's see, and you can pull from a hedge fund like a brokerage. Good question. I'm not sure much about the hedge funds. Okay, I don't know. I have a lot of information about hedge funds. So I would say brokerage fund is the one I'm most familiar with. Hedge funds, when I say dicey, I mean they can be a little bit risky, is what I'm saying, right? So higher fees and things like that also happens with those hedge funds, but I'm not sure if you can pull from it the same way. But I would just stick with a brokerage fund. That's me personally. Great question, though. Appreciate that. Mexico's in the house. Good to hear. Hello from Gatineau. That sounds like Canada. Sounds French. Sounds like Canada. I'm not sure where that is. Where's that? Is that? Let's see. Question: Would you invest in JEPQ at 9% yield? JEPQ. That I believe that's JP Morgan's, right? JP Morgan. Would I invest in JPQ 9%? Too high? Would you be cautious? Always be cautious. Always be cautious. Let me just look at JPEQ real quick. Pull it up real quick. Premium equity. I don't see a problem with it. I'd have to do a lot of research though, and I'm not going to do the research right here. But I would say that just do your research with it. Always be a little bit hesitant, but always know your risk before you get into it. Doesn't look bad though. From what I'm looking at right off the bat, doesn't look like a bad fund. I like their interesting performance. Right, interesting performance over the 5 year. I'm looking at big dip in 22, 23 actually. Not bad. Looks like it's on its way back up. Had a little dip here recently. I would say that's cool. Nothing wrong with that. Let's see. Tuning in from Vegas, Joe Mitch. Good to have you here, guys. This is just a ask me anything. Regular guys' advice on life and money. It could be life. Doesn't have to be money. Could be anything, guys. I've been around a while, so I know a few things. Not a lot. What's the fastest way to pay off a mortgage? Single man with one income. First of all, I want you to consider getting some additional income. Second thing, and when I say additional income, if you can, meaning side hustle, work a few more hours on the job, maybe a part-time gig, whatever you want to do. I would prefer you not get a part-time job and just see what you can do in terms of some type of side hustle to bring in extra money. And the reason I say that is because when you get a side hustle, or I'm sorry, when you get a part-time job, you're getting taxed again. You're getting taxed at the highest tax rate from earnings, right? So I would say something you can do on the side. But besides that, let's dig into the fact that you say, what's the fastest way to pay off the mortgage? Now I'm a 15-year mortgage guy, right? Don't beat me up, guys. Don't beat me up, whatever you do. I like 15-year mortgages, right? And I like them for a lot of reasons. But one of the things that I like about them is that you pay off the mortgage fast. And listen, a lot of people that watch my channel and listen to what we say over here at this YouTube channel, we're in our 30s and late 30s and 40s and 50s, right? And when you're in your late 30s and 40s and 50s, you want to and you want to own a house. You may not ever want to own a house, and that's okay too. But if you want to own a house, you want to free up yourself from a mortgage payment as soon as possible, right? Now, if you're 25 years old and you buy your first house and you're not making as much money, 30-year mortgage, okay, I understand it. You can pay a little extra on it to pay it off quicker. But when you get to be 40 and 45 years old and 50 years old, you're making more money than you were making when you're 20, 25, and 30 years old. You're making more money on the job because maybe you've been there longer or what have you. And if you're making more money on the job, my suggestion is to try to go ahead and stretch yourself to pay off the home. If you want to pay off the home, that way you can get to 55 years old and not have a mortgage and own a piece of real estate that you call yours and has plenty of equity in it in case, you ever want to do, pull some equity. That's cool. But it's also, you don't have a mortgage payment. Who wants to be 65 years old? I don't want to be 65, 70 years old. I don't want to be 70 years old, 75 years old, having to pay $1,500 a month for a mortgage, having to pay $2,500 a month for a mortgage. Because if I have to pay $2,500 a month for a mortgage, it means I have to have income of $2,500. It means I'm going to have to keep doing whatever I got to do to make money. It means I'm still going to be wrapped into this indentured servitude called a mortgage. And I don't want that for you. I'd rather see you at 50 years old, 55 years old, 58 years old, getting ready to retire and leaving a mortgage behind, being done with a mortgage. I know it doesn't work out like that for everybody. I totally understand it. But if you can, why not? If you're 50 years old, 48 years old, 45 years old, go ahead and get you a 15-year mortgage. So when you say what's the fastest way to pay off a mortgage, the fastest way to pay off a mortgage is turn it into a 15-year mortgage, turn it into a 10-year mortgage, or pay a whole bunch extra now that you have extra money left over, and just try to pay that thing off as quick as possible. There's all kind of fancy little things you can do, get the home equity line and pay it through your home equity. You don't really have, I like to keep money simple. I don't like to keep money super complicated or do anything fancy and all that. Just pay extra. Pay extra. You say, what's the fastest way? Pay extra, or force yourself to pay extra. If you plan to be there for a while, force yourself to pay extra by turning it into a 15 or 10-year mortgage. Right? Question, Chadford, how you doing, buddy? After the savings, the debt elimination, and the investing, what's next? Buy a house or buy assets. So you save up, you get rid of all the debt, you save up your money, and you invest as much as possible. The whole time you're making giving a part of what you're doing, helping somebody else. What's next? What's next is up to you, right? You could buy a house, you could buy assets. Yes, all those things. So it's up to you. What do you want, right? Let's reverse engineer this thing. You're 25, 30 years old right now. Where do you want to be at 50 years old? Okay. What do you want to be? Now you got to begin to say, okay, how do I get there? I got my savings, my emergency savings. I got my debt paid off. I'm doing my investing, 15 or 20% of my income. Now what's next? Okay, what's next depends on you. Do you want to say, okay, I want to buy a house, then go buy a house, but you always want to stack assets. That's the kicker, Chadford. Always stack assets on top of assets, on top of assets. Because when you have assets on top of assets, on top of assets, you have choices upon choices, upon choices, upon decision. In other words, you set yourself up for freedom. Choices is freedom. Freedom is choices. Yes, when you get out of debt, great. When you have emergency money, great. Now you're investing, excellent. You're just setting yourself up for choices. Great. You took care of all that foundation. Now what's next? What's next is you decide. You make a choice, right? So good question, Chad, for appreciate it. But yeah, what's next is, I would say, if you want to own a house, buy a house. Now, you don't have to own a house, or you could buy a rental property. Start stacking assets is the kicker. And a house is an asset. So great question. Thanks, Chadford. Tuning in from LA. Good to have you here. Luxury option. Like that name. That's pretty cool. Tuning in from LA. Question. My first 500 to 1,000. How should I invest it? If you're ready to invest your first 500 to 1,000, here's what you do. Said, I'm 27 and have a great job, just trying to do something on the side. Congratulations to you, Cisco Ortega. Make sure you have I always say, make sure your foundation's taken care of. Like Chadford said in the previous question, make sure you have your full emergency fund. Yeah, full emergency fund. Make sure you have your full emergency fund. Make sure you have, you're investing your money, right? And make sure you don't have any debt. And when you have that $500 to $1,000 to invest, What type of investor are you, Cisco? Do you really want to get in the weeds and buy individual stocks? Right? Totally up to you. If you really want to get in the weeds and buy individual stocks and you say, I really like stocks, I want to own about 50 or 100 different companies, and I enjoy looking at them on a regular basis, it doesn't stress me out, I like it, then that's cool. You can buy some individual stocks. Maybe you want to look at the Mag 7. Right? What's happening in the Mag 7 right now? Mag 7 are your top 7 companies that are in the S&P 500, the top 7 companies with the largest market cap in the stock market. Maybe you say, you know what? I don't really want to go Mag 7, but I really would like to look at the top 25 companies in the S&P 500. Maybe you start there, right? Maybe there's a sector that you enjoy. Maybe you're in healthcare, right? Maybe you want to look at some healthcare stocks. Maybe you want to look at some. Maybe you're in construction. Maybe you want to look at some REITs or some construction company, some stocks. Maybe you're into pharmaceuticals. Maybe you're into banks and you understand the banking industry real well. Maybe you can invest in some of those single stocks. But one thing I suggest people do, Cisco, if you're brand new to the stock market, I suggest that people look at ETFs and index funds. If you don't want to sit there and stock watch all day, right? All day, just stock watching, seeing what's happening with the market. Oh, that went down. Oh, if that's not you, take the easy way out. The easy way out is ETFs and index funds, which are $500 to $1,000. That's my suggestion. All right. Good afternoon, Lanita. Good to have you here. Appreciate you. Kannapolis suburb outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. Okay. Thank you for explaining that. I've heard good things about Charlotte. Never been to Charlotte. I've been to, what's the one that starts with a G? Greensboro. I've been to Greensboro, but never Charlotte. Question: do you coach couples, families? I do. Yes. Oftentimes, guys, when I do my one-on-ones, I do them with a couple, right? 2 people. I think that's always the best way to go. But if there is 2 people, but doesn't matter, single or 2 people. What tips do I have in terms of what, Joe Mitch? Let's see. Trying to get money together in a partnership seems double the work. It can seem like double the work, but here's the kicker. If you can both just get in the same boat, right? If you can both just get in the same boat and start rowing in the same direction, right? Same direction. Compromise, right? That's the kicker. That's the key word when you're talking about getting in a financial boat with somebody else. Compromise and do it together. Because if you're in a boat and you're rowing one direction and the other person's rowing the other direction because they don't like what you're talking about and you don't like what they're talking about, it can be really, really difficult. And it'll take you a long time to get to where you want to go in terms of money. Let's see here. You said double the work. Yes. Yes. 2 incomes is nice. So if you can, this is my suggestion. If you can, put it together all in one big basket and then figure it out from there how you want to manage this thing. And weekly or bi-weekly meetings in terms of budget meetings and things like that, all that stuff is good. The more you can do it together, the better. Somebody said, David Rodriguez, good to have you here. I'm 32. Is there still opportunity for me to retire? What? David? Come on, David. Of course, you're 32. Listen, when you get 50 and you look back at somebody that's 30, you're going to say, wow, just a baby, right? Listen, 32, you still have an opportunity. Matter of fact, David, you have a greater opportunity than most people because you have one of the greatest assets on your side, which is time is one of the greatest assets. So absolutely, you do have plenty of time, David. It's all up to you though, right, David? Absolutely, you have time. Bi-weekly plan to pay off mortgage early. Absolutely. Congratulations to you. Pay a lump sum every 3 months. I like that. Absolutely. Great, great, great. Love that plan. Good morning from California, Victoria. Good to have you here. And again, guys, do me a favor, hit the like button. Do me a favor. You can share this video if you want. If you're not a subscriber and you're tuning in for the first time, please feel free to subscribe to the channel. Normally on Saturdays, I have a topic and we go real strong on a specific topic. And again, on Thursday and sometimes Sundays and Wednesdays as well, live. But sometimes I just want to have a conversation and we just talk about whatever's on you guys' mind, any questions I can answer for you about life, about money, etc. And so today is just, hey, regular guys' advice on life and money. And if you're joining me on Facebook, feel free to drop a question. LinkedIn, feel free to drop a question. and Twitter or X. Feel free to drop a question. I think we're there as well. Let's see here. Curtis said, "What website do I d did you go to get information pertaining to JPK?" Oh, I went to Yahoo Finance. That's where I went to, Yahoo Finance. Good afternoon, New York City. New York City in the house. Good. O'Brien, are you in Brooklyn? Keep up the good work. Thanks, O'Brien. I appreciate it. I think you're in Brooklyn, I think from before. Keep money simple. Yes, Curtis. Yes. Keep it simple. Don't complicate that thing, man. When it gets complicated, that's when you get nervous, you get scared, you start getting fear, you start making bad decisions, start getting emotional with money. Keep that thing simple, right? Don't overcomplicate it. Let's see here. Pay extra to principal is what memories in action. I'm 58 years old. Okay. Paid off first house and have 4,000 left on my current home. Wow. She's doing a great thing. Good for you. Memories in action. Sounds like you're doing an excellent job managing your money. Ooh, and I'm a big manager of money, right? Super important to manage the money right. Buenos dias. Good morning. Out of Las Vegas, Nevada. Speak on it. Get the memo. Good to have you here. Glad you're here. Appreciate you being here. Let's see here. Yeah, that's a good point to David. When do you want to retire, David? David, if you want to retire at 35 and you're 32, yeah, you may not have to, I don't know but if you want to retire at 50, you got plenty of time. Let's see. Oh yeah. Art of War said congratulations to her. Fantastic. Stack asset. Curtis, taking notes. I like that, Curtis. Appreciate you. Taking notes. Note it. I just started investing in index funds on Vanguard, Victoria said. And do dividends, although small, automatically get reinvested? Typically they do. Yeah. They do get automatically invested unless you specify otherwise. And I suggest you let those things compound, right? When you start researching the compound effect of dividends, you'll see that over the course of 20, 30 years, great to let them go. I'm a VYM. If you're over on Vanguard, I'm a VYM person. I'm invested in VYM, which is a ETF, which is it's a dividend ETFs. In other words, in the basket of VYM, V is in Victor, VYM, in that basket of goods or of companies, there's a lot of companies that pay dividends in that basket. So it's considered a dividend ETF. But so yeah, let them reinvest. Some people like to use their dividends, $30, $40 here if they don't have much money, or 300, 400 or whatever, and they want to live off the dividends. And that's cool too if you want to do that, right? But I like to put them back in because I have a full-time job, so I don't need to live off dividends. Kimmy Apple, if your company had just a question. Thanks for the question, Kimmy, in advance. Question: I do this. Let me show it. Come on now. I'm gonna get fancy over here, guys. Let's get fancy. All right. If your company had no contribution match and a high fee 401k funds, meaning that what they invest your 401k into or high fees and all that good stuff, what percentage of your income would you invest? I would invest. Okay. If I'm in a process, well, let me finish the question. Would you also pivot and put more into Roth stocks, et cetera? If my company had no match and I was at the point where I had my debt paid off, I had my fully funded, or even if I wasn't at that point, I would be putting in 3 to 5% of my money in a brokerage fund, in a brokerage company somewhere, right? Vanguard, Charles Schwab, Fidelity, you name it, Merrill Lynch, whatever it is, TD Ameritrade, E-Trade, Robinhood, wherever you're at. If you didn't like your company's match, if you don't like your company's match, or if they don't offer a company match, yes, I would be plugging in my money elsewhere, right? What percentage? If I did not have all of my stuff together, let's say my debt wasn't quite fully paid off, I didn't have my emergency fund, then I would only be putting about 3 to 5% of my money into a brokerage fund, maybe a Roth IRA, not a bad place to put it, into a Roth if you want to, or into ETFs and index funds, doesn't matter. But I would continue. I'm not of the thought, I do not believe that you should stop all investing until you get out of debt. I don't think that's right. I think you still want to either get the company match, or if you don't like that, like what your company invests in, or you don't like the fact or they don't offer matching contributions, I would go ahead and still invest 3 to 5% of my money into the stock market somehow, somewhere. Individual stocks, ETFs, plug it into a Roth, whatever you want to do, right? But 3 to 5%. And then once I got out of debt, got my fully funded emergency fund, then I would up that percentage to more like 15 or 20% of my money if I could. 15 to 20% somewhere else. You don't have to get your company, stay with your company's investments if you don't like them. You don't have to only invest with your company that you work for if they don't have a match. You don't. You can go invest on your own, but you just got to make sure you're disciplined. And I would do it as an automatic contribution, right? So if you hook up if you want to go invest at Fidelity, then I would say, Fidelity, every 2 weeks, take out $300 out of my check. And I would set it up where it comes directly out of your bank account every 2 weeks, whatever. That way, it's just like contributing to your 401k, except now you're contributing to your own investment, right? So great question, Kimmy. Thanks for asking that. LD says San Antonio. So that's 2 people in here from San Antonio. Thank you for all you do. You're welcome, LD Sims. Absolutely. Appreciate your support as well. Let's see here. Rehabbing a separate unit on my property to an Airbnb. Congratulations to you on that. Putting all my ducks in a row. Smart Money Bro, you're an inspiration. Thank you so much. Get the memo. Appreciate you. Have any questions, reach out to me and we can have a conversation to get you further along. But you're doing a great job and congratulations to you. Let's see. How much should each age group save from their paycheck for retirement? I don't think it's necessarily an age group. Okay. So, Chadford, I don't really think it matters in terms of age. Okay. I think what matters is your situation, right? So it really depends on what your situation is. The first thing I tell people, Chadford, on this channel again, is to get that firm financial foundation with your household together first, right? Meaning, again, I said it again, I know I said it earlier, but I want to just repeat it for this question. Make sure you get your debt paid off. Make sure you have a small $2,000 emergency fund to start with, right? Just to start with. The $2,000 emergency fund just to start with, right? I'm just checking something in the middle of answering this question. 22222222. Let's see here. I'm with you guys. I'm with you. Haven't left you. Let's see here. Just checking something real quick. Okay. It's hard for me to do like 2 or 3 things at once, but you got to do 2 or 3 things at once when you're on this YouTube channel. Man, you have to do 2 or 3 things at once. But okay, yeah. So build that firm foundation, Chadford. And then figure out your goals. Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? So I don't think it's a certain percentage of savings per age group. I don't. You could be 25 years old, have all your ducks in a row, and be saving 20 and 25 and 30% of your money. Or you could be, 55 years old, have all your ducks in a row and be saving 25, 30% of your money. So it's not really a age group thing. Good question, though. Appreciate it. Let's say, hello, sir. I do CDA to VA, and I want to start another $100 in ETF technology. Which one? ETF. Why don't you go over at Vanguard, look at MGK. MGK. Is that right? Am I giving you the right numbers here? MGK. Wait a minute. Maybe it's not MGK. What is that one? What's the Vanguard technology one? Guys, help me out. I'm going to tell you what it is right here. It's the Vanguard Technology ETF. It is it VGT? No, it's not VGT. It's MGK. MGK. I said it right the first time. MGK. Let's see here. Yep, MGK. Right? It's a mega cap growth index fund. Right? And the holdings in that one it's a lot of technology in that one. So check that one out. Let's see here. I'm from Greece. Hey, good to have you here from Greece. Thank you. I appreciate that. I can tell by the Greece name that you have. Question: do you think Mag 7 is too high to get in? No, if you're in it for long term, no, I don't. Because long-term investing, the stock market does this. It goes up, comes down, goes up, comes down, goes up, comes down. But ultimately, it ends up, let me see if my fingers in the camera. It ends up here. Started down here, ends up here, even though it zigzags on its way up, right? Goes down for a little bit, goes back up, goes down, goes way up. So no, it's not too late to get into the Mag 7, or it's I do think I don't think they're over if you're in it for the long term, right? If you're in it for the long term, it's not. But if you're trying to jump in and jump out and jump in, then yeah, you're going to see some issues with technology over the next 6 months. We had 3 or 4 years of great technology, or pretty good technology, 2 or 3 years. O'Brien's in the Bronx. Good to have you. I'm 38 with 3 Roth IRAs, a traditional 401k from work, and a 5 individual stocks. Trust me, anyone in their 30s have plenty of time. Absolutely, sure do. Future show idea: what are the greatest underappreciated assets someone might have for wealth building that might not be aware of? Tracy, you hit it right on the nose. I got a video coming out on Sunday. On Sunday. Wow, you must have been reading my mind, Tracy. I have a video coming out on Sunday, and that video is 5 assets that don't cost money. 5 assets that are, and you call them underappreciated, they are very underappreciated. 5 assets that cost $0. Let me get that question off the screen for a while. Well, I got to get that question off. Boop. All right. So yeah, I'm going to be doing a video about that. You'll see it on Sunday. If you subscribe to this channel, it'll come to you. Make sure you're subscribing. You turn on the notifications, guys. I've heard that a lot of people's notifications have gone off. So make sure you go to your spot, turn on the notifications for this channel. Also, hit the like button. Hit the like button. Free for all. Advice on life and money. People are asking me money questions. Nobody has a life question. I don't know. Go figure. I'm okay either way. Let's see here. Appreciate that show idea, Tracy. Hey, Wisconsin's in the house. Wisconsin. I don't get a lot of them from Wisconsin, but we appreciate you being here, James. Let's see. I've been trying to get myself off disability, and they're messing with me. I developed a product that I think will go far. Congratulations to you. Watch me thriving. Congratulations to you. And good luck to you on getting that product jumped off. I have a goal of saving $100,000 in 10 years. Great goal. I have 12,000 in 401k, 2K in emergency, 1,800 in VU, and 500 in silver. Can you tell me how I'm doing? Would you suggest anything more? So here's what I suggest to you, Deborah. 100K in 10 years, go hard. I think you can get that in about 5 years. Plug in lots of money to your 401k if you like where your 401k is being invested by your job, right? Build up your emergency fund to more than 2K. We want to get that emergency fund up. You can kind of chill out on some of the investment right now until you get that emergency fund built up. Get that up to 3 or 4 or 5 months of your needs, your monthly needs. Take your needs every month, whatever they may be, $2,500 worth of needs. Multiply that by 4. That's 10 grand. Get your emergency fund up to 10 grand quickly, as quick as possible. Right? Then you want to start plugging your more money into your 401k or into your VU. VU is the S&P 500, I think, ETF at Vanguard. So I would you've got to increase your income. You got to lower your expenses, and you have to really focus on plugging more money into your savings. Into your investments, but don't do that until you actually get your savings up. Get your savings up and then start piling money towards your investments. Let's see. Curtis said, get fancy. Quick heads up. I think others are copying some of your videos. Yes, that does happen, guys. We got some serious scammers out here. Listen, people are scamming for a living. If you go to the comment section of one of my videos, any of my videos, you'll see scammer. Guys, be very careful. And that's why I try to put a disclaimer in all the description boxes. Be very careful of the scammers. They are out here. They are willing to take your money and don't care nothing about you because they don't have to think about you. It's the internet. You're just a name on a screen. So they don't care about you. So yeah, there are people that are doing that, copying profiles, and it's crazy out here, guys. It's really, really crazy. Let's see. Somebody say, appreciate that heads up, by the way. Dividends are awesome. Pam, good to have you here. Good to see you, Pam. Thanks for being around here. Thanks for your support, Pam. Deborah, let's see. I won't read that. Question. Would you get a hard money loan to flip a house? Pros and cons. Would I get a hard money loan to flip a house? Good question. Good question. Let's see. Hard money loans. Hard money loan. Yes, maybe. A lot of variables. A lot of variables. Now, I'm a guy that don't like loans, as you guys know, right? I'm a guy that says be careful with loans because there's debt and there's not so good debt. Now, debt to perhaps on a piece of real estate that you want to turn around and flip, not super horrible. I'm not going to beat you up for that, of course, not a bad idea. But hard money loans are going to come with some issues, right? Hard money loans can be risky sometimes, so you got to watch out for that, right? Because they come with high interest. They come with, 6-month repayment, 9-month repayment. The terms, whenever you hear the word terms in a contract, that's the length of the contract. How long is it? For how long, right? So the terms of a hard money loan are different than a regular loan that you might be used to. I got 5 years paid back. Hard money loans, you got to pay back quickly, right? And they're not as regulated and all that good stuff, so you're taking on some type of risk with hard money loans. What is the stability of the project that you're looking at? Are you experienced doing flips? If you're experienced doing flips and a hard money loan, you're going to get your money out, you got a really good idea that you're going to get your money out, you don't anticipate, you've done your due diligence on the piece of property. You don't anticipate a lot of unforeseen conditions, right? You've checked behind walls. There's not a big asbestos problem or anything like that in the flip. And you've done your due diligence and you feel pretty good about it. Done your research and all that stuff. Done your research on the lender, right, as well. I don't see a big problem with it if you come to the deal prepared, okay? If you come to the deal prepared and the deal is a little bit less risky, then you can afford a little bit of the high risk that's associated with the hard money loan, right? To flip the house, okay? So that's kind of where I am on that in terms of pros and cons. I'm more on the con side unless you're an experienced flipper, right? But if you're not experienced, but you know the deal, you feel good about the deal, not just feel good, but you know the numbers of the deal and you know the location, you know what's coming, you know what you can sell, what you can't sell. If you understand the deal well, it's okay. Plainfield in the building. Good to have you, Tony. I hope that answers your question, Sunset. Has anyone seen the Yield Max ETFs? Oh, asking that for the group. Good morning from Seattle. Miss V is in the house. Somebody said, what made you want to start what you're currently doing now with helping people on social media? So what made me want to start? Man, that's a great question. I appreciate that question, Chadford. And I highlighted it up there. What made me want to start, guys, is back in 2017, I said, you know what? I've got a large LinkedIn presence, right? I had a large follower of people on LinkedIn. And I said, you know what? I'm doing some great things. I want to help other people. Of course, I just have sort of a nature to help people. I like helping people. But besides that, I just wanted to help as many people as I can. I don't really know the answer to that question, Chadford. There was no big aha moment or anything like that. I just know where I come from. There's a lot of people that don't get regular help, right? They get help from people who are trying to make money off of them helping. Make money off their help, right? I'm gonna help you, but I'm gonna try to get rich by helping you. So here's my here, you can pay me $1,000. And I didn't want to do all that. I thought that was real scammy. think about the live I did just yesterday, talking about how to spot a grifter, right? How to spot a thief, somebody trying to take your money. That's one of the things that I did that really bothers me. And so I said, I want to help people in a way that just genuinely helps people, right? Not trying to be Mr. Perfect or anything like that. I'm not perfect by any means, right? But I just want to help as many people as possible. And I said, how can I do that? And so I started Smart Money Bro, started a website. I said, you know what? Video's getting big. 2021 came around. I said, boom, let me start this YouTube channel. Let's see if this works out. And I just started doing it on YouTube. And when I started doing it on YouTube, it really took off because YouTube is a platform that a lot of people were watching more and more and more. And so that's kind of where it started from. But it's all about just trying to help people out. Honestly, guys, like the only thing that I really sell is I sell my time, which is one-on-one financial mentoring and coaching. And I think I put a link to that in the description box below. And I have a few books on Amazon, right? But that's really all I sell necessarily. And there's nothing wrong with selling more than that, right? If you have digital products, and I do have some digital products too on my website. If you go to smartmoneybro.com, you'll see some digital products under the tab that says shop. But I don't make a living off helping people, right? Some people have to make a living, got to pay their rent, buy their food off of how many people they help. And they get in this game and they start helping people, and it's cool, but they have to pay the rent from helping people. And I don't have, thankfully, I'm blessed to be able to, at a point where I don't have to do that. I can help people, just genuinely helping people. And the only thing I really can charge you for is if you want to have a one-on-one with me, or you want to spend some time talking to me, you ask me a question about your personal situation for 30 minutes. I do charge money for those things because it's my time, but I have a luxury of being able to, and I'm blessed and thankful for that luxury and grateful for it, that I can help people without having to pay my rent or my mortgage from helping you, because I have a job that I actually like, and I've been doing for 16 years. So I hope that was a long way around to answer your question, Chadford, but that's a great question. Thanks for asking it. Let's see here. Question. My employer gives the option in my 401k to make a percentage in Roth and a percentage in non-Roth. I had it all pre-tax, and my tax lady said, think about percentage in Roth. Art of War. Not sure what your age is, but that's a cool thing to think about, right? Roth. I'm the same way. I work for the federal government. So the federal government has where they have a Roth contribution and a non-Roth contribution, right? And I put a little bit towards both. I put a lot of bit towards both. So I do a lot of bit towards both, right? And the first one I'm going to try to draw from when I actually move my money and all that, that's another whole conversation. But I'll try to draw from the pre-tax first and try to let the Roth just stay there, right? But I think it's a good idea to do both. I think your person is right on the money. Of course, it depends on a lot of different things. What do you get back from taxes every year? Do you get a big old chunk back? If you get a big old chunk back, maybe you got to adjust those things a little bit as well. But your tax person is right on the money. Yeah, a little bit of both is always good. Tony said, I started investing at 48, so only a 17-year window. So I'm pumping in 2 G's a month. Yes. Congratulations to you, Tony. You can get back like 500. So appreciate that. Good. Thanks for sharing that. VGT in Vanguard. Yes, I think I have a little bit of VGT also. Question. I'm 30 years old. I have acquired 6 figures in assets, stocks, ETFs, crowdfunding, real estate via Fundrise. Is it possible that I can reach a 7-figure portfolio by 40? Yes, it's possible. Ortega, right? Absolutely, it's possible. 6 figures in assets. But here's my question to you, O'Brien. I don't know if O'Brien or Ortega is your first name. Let's call you Ortega, because Ortega is more cooler than O'Brien. O'Brien's Irish. Ortega is Hispanic, or is it Mexican specifically? Or Spanish. Let's go with Ortega. I like that better. Sounds more cooler. Ortega. Listen, how much debt do you have? Right? Whenever somebody tells me what they have in assets, I want to know what's your debt. Because if you got 6 figures in debt, do you have 6 figures if you have 6 figures in assets, do you have 6 figures in debt? That's the question. That's going to determine if you can get to where you want to go by age 40. Right? When you say you want to get a 7-figure portfolio, is that net worth? That's the question. And you can get there, right? But you got to make sure that you don't have a 7 figures in debt as well on the way to get there, right? So let me know that in the comments, and we'll answer that question a little more thoroughly. What impact do you think the growing number of AI financial channels will have on financial education? I think AI, man, let me tell you, AI is something else, man. You go to GPT, I could say I could ask that question. What impact do you think the growing number of AI financial channels would have on the financial education? I could ask that question to Chat GPT and it'll kick me out 2 paragraphs. Right? I mean, like, wow. And I think some people do that. Now, me, every video I have, I got 500 something videos visible, probably another 200 videos not visible on YouTube. And every video I have, I write what I say. I come up with my own. I don't go to use AI and stuff like that. Some people do. Not mad at them if they do. I think it's going to have an impact because you're going to have people that are starting AI channels and financial education who don't know about finances. they just toss a question into AI spits it out, and now you have somebody who doesn't know about finances giving people financial education and financial advice, which can be dangerous, right? You got to be careful about that. So I think it will have an impact. I don't know how positive or negative, but it will have an impact. Great point. What percentage we put in for? Okay. Art of War, ask the whole question because I forgot the other question. There's so many things in my brain right now. So Art of War, do me a favor, ask that whole question in one question. I'll answer it for you. Let's see here. Let's see. Good morning, Springfield, Missouri's in the house. Good to have you in here in the near the boot heel of Missouri. Anyone investing in REITs? I'm not a REIT person. Some folks do. I actually have a real estate. Could you recommend any good UK financial educators? Ooh, there's one on YouTube I run into all the time. I can't think of his name. I'm sorry, Finland. Let's see here. Let's see here. I'm trying to get to the questions here. Put a Q in there for me so I don't pass you up. Some I may pass up. Gotta look for a new job. Okay. Eric, gotta look for a new job. Also, simply having a break from the 9 to 5. Take some time off, travel a bit, but don't really want to slow down the compound effect. Want to optimize the trajectory. Continue how? Explain that question again, Johnny. I don't understand what you're saying. Art of War. If you could travel anywhere in the world, what 2 places would I visit? Ooh, that's a good question. That's a good regular guy's advice on life and money question, Art of War. If I could travel anywhere in the world, there would be 2 places I travel. If I could travel right now anywhere in the world, 2 places. West Africa, probably the area of Ghana, and probably in East Ghana. Secondly, it would be East Africa. It would be Egypt, the pyramids, all up and down the Nile River. Because again, guys, I'm a history guy, right? And when I say history, I mean, I used to teach social studies back in the 90s, and I've been into history, specifically African history, since the late 80s, right? So I like a lot of history in general, but really the continent of Africa is fascinating to me, right? In terms of early civilization life along the Nile River, and in terms of genealogy, if I trace my history back, I've done DNA, I'm 78%, 76% African. So I want to visit West Africa where, my ancestors, most of them came from. So it would be those 2 places, West Africa and Upper East Africa, in the areas of from Ethiopia up, Upper Nile into where it flows into the Mesopotamia. Into the Mediterranean to Lower Egypt, Upper Egypt to Lower Egypt, which is along the Nile River. See the pyramids, the Sphinx, and all that. That's what I'd like to do. Great question, Art of War. Thank you for the super chat, JT Coin Rings. Big shout out to JT Coin Rings. This guy's been following me since I had 1,000 subscribers 2.5 years ago. So I appreciate you, JT Coin Rings. Says your platform is awesome. Your content is needed. I appreciate it. It's a blessing to be a blessing. Let's see here. Hey, Alvira's here. Alvira, good to have you here coming in from Queens, New York, Queensbridge, New York. right? I like to have, okay, zero debt. O'Brien said zero debt. Okay, so O'Brien, good for you. I think I remember your question. You said you had 100,000 in assets. You want to grow it to 1 million in 10 years. Very, very possible. Very, very possible. Yes, you can do it. I think you're on your way. You're 30 years old. You are definitely well on your way to being a millionaire. Absolutely. Continue with no debt, no consumer debt, right? If you want to leverage some debt to buy some real estate or some other assets, I'm okay with that. But you're doing a good job, O'Brien. Congratulations. I'm sorry. You're doing a good job, Ortega. Keep going. Let's see here. My feed is being flooded with AI channels slowly but surely. Hey, I don't know what to tell you on that. Yeah, there's a lot of them out there. What are your thoughts on recasting a mortgage? Mortgage recasting. That's another one that it's like it can be a good tool, right? To get your payments where you want them to be, or to lower your payments. Um, I'm not I'm not I'm not I'm not I'm not mad at it, right? If you want to lower your payments, right? Get your payments lower. Um, but at the same time, I'm all about paying it off. So nothing wrong with that. Thanks for that question. Let's see here. Oh yeah, O'Brien. So I'm sorry, Ortega. So we got you straight on that. Let's see here. Question: if you had to retire outside the U.S. I think I just answered that one. I know I'm a little behind on the chat. I think I just answered that. If I had to retire outside the USA, which is a question I put on the community tab a couple of days ago, it's going to be somewhere in Africa. It's going to be the West Coast, or maybe even over there in Tanzania, right? Over on the east side. But it's probably going to be the West Coast of Africa if I had to retire somewhere else. Now, I have not traveled to the Caribbean. I have not traveled to South America. So I don't know. But Africa would be a good place for me. Let's see here. I have a day job, which I am thankful for. Should I wait for my first published book to take off before I get my second book out? A home-based booking business. I have a day job for which I'm grateful. Should I wait for my first published book to take off? You mean to leave your job? Yeah. I mean, if that's the question, yeah, you don't want to leave your job too soon, right? Because you're my first published book to take off. Yeah. Before getting my second book out. Oh, in terms of books are very difficult to sell. Should I wait for my first published book to take off? Oh, should you wait for your first published book to take off before you're getting your second book out? Not sure why you would wait. There's a really great guy on YouTube. I can't think of his channel. Somebody help me. I think he's a black guy that's British or something. He has a book channel, an author channel, and he goes through everything. If you are, and you may know who he is, but if you're looking for a good YouTuber that talks about how to publish, how to get your book out there, how to market your book, you need to check out his channel. Is it Arthur Level Up? 3 different words. Arthur. I don't know if his channel is still out and about. Let me see. I think his channel is still pretty active. Man, he's got some great videos about, yeah, his channel is still active. It's called Arthur, Author, Level Up. I'll always like to give out shouts to I'll put it in the chat here. I like to give out shouts to good YouTube channels, right? And he has a solid YouTube channel. I used to watch it years ago. He's got under 50,000 subscribers, right? But he's really solid. So check him out. Good guy. Elvira, that's my suggestion. Check out his YouTube channel. His YouTube channel might answer that question better than me, because he's a published author and he deals with authors every day. Somebody says, you did a video specifically for Black people. I think disabled people and women have similar issues regarding building wealth. Yeah, I did a few videos specifically targeting African-American Black people, because in the whole gist of American life, Black people in America tend to do financially. Our financial situation's a little worse than the other groups in America. So I felt that it was important to target sometimes, not often, but every now and then. I think, if I have a specific word that I want to share specifically for Black Americans to say, how do you pull yourself up and do things a little different? I haven't done one in like 6 months or 9 months, right? Long time, but check those videos out. I think they're good videos. And you said, I think disabled people and women have similar issues regarding building wealth. I think you're right about that, Finland. Thanks for that comment. Somebody said, I'm 43, recently divorced. I lost half my wealth. I'm starting over. I have low debt. Chef, you have low debt. That's the kicker. That's the kicker. You got low debt. And I'm sorry to hear about your divorce, but hang in there. You can do it. You can do it. Davion, I think it's Davion, says, I'm 46 years old. Should I aggressively invest in the stock market to reach financial freedom quicker? That would be a yes. That would be a yes, right? Absolutely. I would also, Davion, say this. Get your financial house in order. Make sure you have 3 to 6 months of your needs set to the side in a high yield savings account. Make sure that you have no debt. You get out of debt, right? That's how you build this foundation, because I don't want you just to feel like you're good because you invest in a whole lot of money, but you still got a whole lot of debt. I want you to do it in the right order, right? So great question. Thanks for bringing that out, Davion. Good luck to you. Last night, a friend introduced me to network marketing with traveling. Like you, Eric, I want to see the pyramids in Egypt and see the Galilee and the Dead Sea. Absolutely. Back to the motherland. I'm out in Ghana a lot. You should definitely go. Egypt is awesome. Awesome. Absolutely. I'm so far behind, guys. I'm sorry, but I'm trying to catch up with the chat. Let's see here. Arthur Level Up, put that up there. You have inspired me to do more YouTube videos, Michael Dillard. Keep teaching. Yes, keep going. Michael, hit that record button and keep on recording, man. And get to the point, Michael, listen, if you want to do a YouTube channel, get to the point where you're doing it not just for the money, not just for the views, not just for the accolades, but you're doing it because you have a genuine want to get information, whatever the information is. It could be anything, right? You could be a gardener. I don't know. You could be a plumber. You could be a cook. You could be anything. I don't care. You could just want to vlog. You could just want to share something. You want to share something about, spirituality, Christian faith. I don't care what it is. Your message that you want to share with the world could be anything. Share it, right? Because I guarantee you there's people out there that want to know what you're talking about. Somebody says, do I still have your video? Do you still have your video about the differences between a 15 and 30-year mortgage? Yes. I think I might have hid that video. That video might be private right now on YouTube. But Larry, shoot me an email. If you want me to send it out to you, I certainly can. I'm thinking about putting another video out. That's why I probably hit that video. I want to put out another more fresh video, up-to-date video about the differences between a 15 and 30-year mortgage, right? So great question, Larry. But yeah, shoot me an email and I might just send that video to you privately if you like. Let's see here. Publish once, it's ready. Books can take years to take off. Absolutely, if they ever do. The big thing about books is you got to market. You got to market. Because if nobody knows you're out there, so my books that are on Amazon, they didn't start getting bigger until I didn't start selling them until people knew who I was and my YouTube took off a little bit, right? And yeah, like you say, you could be sitting on a bestseller, you don't know. But books are tough the whole thing is marketing. Hey, thank you, Eric, for your answer. Second book, published book. Okay. You got one published already. You're welcome. Let's see here. Besides refinancing, what are ways to lower your mortgage payments? Right? What are ways to lower your mortgage payments? Somebody help us out in the chat on that question. Right? Besides refinancing, right? Ways to lower your mortgage, right? You guys help me out in the chat on that. Sometimes I like to put you guys to work in the chat. No, I'm just kidding. Somebody said pay more on it. Yeah, absolutely. Pay more, right? Maybe you can well, I'll let you guys answer that. I appreciate you guys throwing those answers out there. Bigger contributions, pay more on the principal, pay extra, additional principal payments. Absolutely. That's always a good one. Right? Let's see here. I'm just looking at the chat. And this is advice on anything, guys. Life. Yeah, somebody said you can get rid of your escrow, your taxes and insurance maybe, and start paying those out of pocket. But you're still kind of moving money around if you do that, right? Right. So, I mean, there's there. My question is, why do you want to lower the mortgage payment? Right. If you want to pay the house off, why not increase the payment? Not sure where you are or what you're trying to do or what your end goal is, but yeah, move out, rent it out. Somebody said, right? Yeah, move into a smaller apartment. So, anything else, guys? Talk to me. Talk to me. Any other questions that have to do with money advice? By the way, I didn't say it so far, but go ahead and check out Mint Mobile in the description box below, guys. That's who I use for my cell phone service. Check out Mint Mobile. Tap on them. If you haven't got it already, I've got free ebook in the description box, The 24 Laws of Money. And I thought about, listen, with the 24 Laws of Money, when I first wrote that, first of all, I wrote that a year and a half before I actually put it out there, right? But I went back and make sure everything was still accurate and my thought process was still on the right page, made some changes. But I thought of making that a book. But I said, you know what? Nah, let's just go ahead and give it away free and use it to collect email addresses, right? And build up my email list. So if you're on my email list, every now and then you'll see me send out an email. Typically, it's an email of information. What's happening right now, currently, sort of in the financial world, or I may have a greeting or something, but I don't use that for anything much besides that. But it's a free ebook in the description box. If you haven't got it, feel free to get it. Also in the description box, you'll see a link to my one-on-one financial services, right? And you'll see a link to my schedule, right? And you'll see maybe my website is in the description box too as well, smartmoneybro.com. You can go there and everything I've talked about is there as well, right? Let's see here. I have a feeling I might have Quakers in my ancestry. Maybe. I don't know. It's very possible. I've done the DNA on Ancestry DNA, on 23andMe DNA. I understand how to read the centimorgans and all that good stuff, and I've helped people with their tracing. You know, if somebody's adopted or something like that, and they want to figure out how to read all this stuff and figure it out, and and so I've done all that, right? I think it says I'm 22%, both of them, 23andMe and Ancestry.com. Their DNA said I'm roughly 21 or 22% European. Literally 21 or 22% European, meaning ancestors from England, Ireland, etc. Right? My mom is more like 23, 24% European. But hey, what can I say? So I'm a mixture of things, guys. And let's see, a lot of Nigerian too, 30% in Nigerian on both of those. And we know that it means the area of Nigeria, 100, 200, 300, 400 years ago. Let's see here. Somebody said, what is the best budgeting app? Now, newsflash. I better tell you this, guys, and be transparent with you. I'm not a budgeting app guy. I don't use budgeting apps. So if you guys, again, in the chat, you have some suggestions, YNAB is one that I hear people use quite a bit and have some good luck with, right? But I don't use budgeting apps. Call me old school, right? But I do not use budgeting apps, right? If you use a good budgeting app, put it in the chat for somebody that needs to know, right? If you use YNAB, I think some people use is it Stash? Is Stash a budgeting app? There's one called Rocket Money or something like that. I've heard some good things about YNAB. You need a budget, right? And I think Dave Ramsey has a budgeting app as well, but I don't use budgeting apps. Okay. I use a regular budget, right? But some of the budgeting apps, they may offer certain things that are good for you. If it helps you, hey, you use whatever it takes to help you out to do a budget. Because I think a budget. I was reading something the other day ago. There's a guy. He wrote the book called The Automatic Millionaire. I think his name is David Bach. I was looking on his website maybe a week ago, and he said, "You don't need a budget." I said, "What in the world? You don't need a budget?" Man, I couldn't disagree with that more. Listen, you got to have a budget. This is my opinion. Now, I'm a budget guy because I've done a budget every single month since 1994, right? When I got my first job out of college in September of 1994, I've done a budget every single month written. I cannot remember missing a month. Every single month, a budget. And up until 2017 or 18, it was written down on a piece of paper. I would get one of those ledgers that you get from like any store. You get a ledger, a book, and I wrote a budget every single month, didn't miss. And I think that organization and control over my money was amazing. So that's why I recommend people do a budget all the time. So if you don't do it on an app, do it period. But if you can suggest an app in the chat, that'd be great, guys. So let me see here. Just looking at some budgeting apps. Yeah, YNAB tends to come up quite a bit as I do my search here. All right. So next question was, somebody said, I mentioned somebody said I like term life insurance. Do I have any thoughts on universal? Universal life insurance, it's sort of a cash value. I think it's a cash value type of life insurance, right? I'm not big on anything that's cash value life insurance. I'm just not big on cash value life insurance, right? I like my low premiums, right? And I know with a universal, I think you take your extra premiums and credit it over towards the cash value or something like that. But I'm just not a cash. I'm not a cash. I'm not a cash value life insurance person. Just don't like it. I just don't think it's necessary, not needed. I would rather just keep the life insurance and my investing separate. Just keep them separate. That's my opinion. And man, there's a lot of reasons I don't like cash value. And there's a lot of reasons I like term. Okay. And I think that's the even bigger issue. A lot of reasons I like term. Primarily the low premiums, right? The low premiums I think are nice. But I like to be in complete control of my money. So anything extra I have beyond the term, I like to have the freedom to do what I want to do with it, not to have it trapped into a life policy, right? Somebody said, I signed up for Mint Mobile recently. Yes, big savings. Mint Mobile is crazy. And the reason Mint Mobile saves you money, one of the big reasons is because, hey, they don't have stores. You can't drive down the street and see a Mint Mobile store, right? Like you can see an AT&T store or whatever it is, right? So because they don't have that stores listen, paying people to work in a store is the biggest expense you can ever have as a company. So Mint Mobile doesn't have that. And their customer service is really, really good. You do everything online with Mint Mobile. So appreciate that heads up on Mint Mobile. Let's see here. Did you see my question about can you know? No, I didn't see it, NW. You might want to re-put it back in there into the chat. Can you tell me the fee for TSPC and S funds? I haven't logged in my TSP in a while. Kimmy's talking about the Thrift Savings Plan. That's what TSP. That's if you work for the federal government in America, you put your money not into a 401k or 403b. You put it into the TSP. They have a C fund and an S fund. C fund and the S fund, I can't tell you what the fee for those are. You're going to have to go to the TSP website to get that fee, but it's really, really low, right? When you work for the federal government and you invest into the TSP, you're sort of like investing into low cost index funds. That's what the C, the S, the I, the F, these are really low cost index funds. So whatever that fee is, I know it's really, really low. And it's a great place to have your money invested. I believe in God, so I don't believe in I believe in I'm a Christian guy. So I don't believe in this. I don't karma. Okay. Karma is really I think karma helped me. I don't know much about religions, right? But I think karma itself is more of a Hindu if you want to put that towards a percent. But the idea of karma of what goes around comes around, I think you can find it in a lot of different religions. Um, I'm dealing with health issues. Let's see here. Health insurance. I can get insurance. Um, what advice would I give for somebody who's dealing with some health issues? Most of us don't have health insurance. I can't get insurance covered for existing issues. What advice, man? If you can't get an HSA, FSA, if you can't get health insurance, man, you got to save money. That's a tough question. You need to put that in the comment section. Let me do a little research on that. Um, Ways that people can't get insurance. You also might check with your local free health clinic, the free health clinic near you, because they're going to have some suggestions for you on how you can get insurance when you're dealing with certain medical issues as well. Somebody says, I don't have any debt, never bought a home. Let's see. Man, it went away. What happened to it? Gosh, help me out with that again. Ask that again. Let's see here. When is the best time? I missed a couple of them, guys. When is the best time to buy a car? October, November. If you're buying a new car, but also even if you're buying a used car, late towards the end of the year is always the best time to buy a car. Let's see. When you're not working on your 100 jobs, how do you relax and rest? Any hobbies? Ooh, that's a good question. Sunset on the ocean. What hobbies do I have? Hobbies, my goodness. YouTube was a hobby, but I like to read. I like history. I like to read anything having to do with history. I like to read biographies. I like to take walks. I try to walk. My back was hurting for a couple of weeks, but I try to walk every day outside if the weather's cooperates, or I go to my gym and walk at the gym. But I try to get some movement, some walking, as much as possible. I like to exercise, and I know I'm not in the perfect shape, right? But I'm in a lot better shape than a lot of people my age. That's for sure. But I like to exercise, work out. That's a hobby of mine as well. Um, so I really like going to my grandkids' sporting events. That's fun too. But and I was playing golf up until a couple of years ago, till I took off with YouTube, and YouTube keeps me really busy. But I do enjoy golf, and I enjoy walking and exercising, those types of things, in terms of resting and relaxing and resetting. I don't reset very much. I work when I reset, right? I write, when I write I write things. I create things in terms of what I do here on YouTube. So that's a great question. Thanks, Sunset. If you got suggestions for me, Sunset, drop that in the comment too. Miss V with the super chat. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. I really, really, really appreciate it. And I appreciate you, Miss V. Appreciate you supporting the channel and supporting me. Favorite financial or investing must read. Where's it at? J.L. Collins, The Simple Path to Wealth. Yeah. I'll try to get it down. J.L. Collins, The Simple Path to Wealth. If you're looking for an easy book to read, that's very, very readable, that's a good one. It's fairly simple stuff in there. Very readable. That's what I would suggest, Grayman. Let's see, Kimmy Apple. I don't use budgeting apps either. Simple pen and paper for me. And I'm a geriatric millennial. What's a geriatric millennial? Yeah, I'm just a simple spreadsheet guy myself. I just put my budget on a spreadsheet, and that's what I use too. What's the biggest financial mistake I've made? I've made several. I bought my first car at the age of 18. It was a brand new car I bought at the age of 18 with over 20% interest and no air conditioning. Stupid decision. I kept my student loans around for 31 years. Just finished paying them off last year. Silly decision. I over leveraged when I was buying real estate back in 2006, 2005, 2006. I was buying real estate and I had no money. Huge mistake. Buying real estate with no money. At one point, for about 9 or 10 years, I had like 6 pieces of property. 6 single families. And I was bringing home about $4,500 a month. But because I over leveraged them, my mortgages were about $2,700 a month. So I've got these 6 pieces of rental property. I'm hyped up. Woo, I got a bunch of rental property. I'm looking good. I'm 35 years old, a bunch of rental properties. And I had all these rental properties, and I was making maybe what, $1,800 a month, or what was it? Maybe $1,800, $1,900 a month. But guess what happened? Bad tenant, bad tenant, bad tenant. Next thing you know, I'm having to dig into my own pocket to pay for properties and don't have money either because I'm broke. So I'm broke having rental properties, and they're highly leveraged. Huge mistake. Huge mistake. This is why I suggest to people right now today on this channel, if you buy real estate properly. Buy rental properties the right way, right? Don't get caught up trying to put 1% down on a piece of rental property and be making $100 a month and think you're balling, because you're not balling. $100 a month cushion on a rental property means you make, if that thing stays rented for 12 months, that means you make $1,200 a year. $1,200 a year is nothing to make on a rental property, right? Because if you have 2 months of that thing not being empty, not getting rent, then that means you're making less than $1,200 a year. You're making only $1,000 a year. Then you got to get it ready to re-rent. That's another couple $1,000. You're in the hole. So I bought real estate wrong when I was listening to the gurus on how to buy it right. Made mistakes. That's probably one of my biggest financial mistakes. Question from Pam. How would you suggest getting a significant other on board if they're not, i.e. one person saving towards retirement and being debt free and the other person not? Here's what I would suggest, Pam. Thanks for that question, Pam. I like that question so everybody can hear it. If you're the person who's on board with getting the money right, one of the things, you have to sort of sell this thing to the other partner. When I say sell it, you got to say, okay, here's the possibility of what we could do together if we put everything in one pot and do this thing together. One, just give them all the scenarios, right? We can go travel. We can go just whatever they like, right? Whatever you think they like. Say, hey, if we can just get out of debt and do this thing together, man, we can grow some serious wealth. We can become millionaires. We can do this. We can do that. Start selling that. That's one idea, right? The other idea is just to be gentle, ask gentle, bring it in, bring the thought process. You got to start having some communication, right? You got to start talking. You got to start talking about what's going on with the money and start introducing the idea of putting the money together. If you're single and not married yet, and you don't have a partner just now, you got to start saying, okay, one of the first things we're going to talk about when I do start dating or whatever is we're going to talk about the money. How we going to put our money together? You can go further when you're in the boat rowing together than you can when one person's rowing this way and one person rowing that way, and one person has their bills and debts and the other person has their. Put it all in a pot. Right? And again, slowly introduce it to that person. Maybe next time you guys go out and get a bite to eat. Hey, I think it's really important. Let's have a conversation about this and let's talk about this. And if the person is really a person that likes you, they'll respect what you want and what you're trying to do. And they'll at least listen. If they like you, if they respect you, they'll sort of listen to what you have to say on the issue. And if you think it's really important, then they'll begin to think it's sort of important as well. But just don't bum rush them, right? Take your time, go slow, and see what becomes of it. Say, hey, I think let's talk about can we, and don't overdo it, but just introduce it slowly but surely into their thought process. And then again, show them or give them the rewards. Talk about the rewards. Talk about what can be, what can happen. And over some time, it may take a year. It may take 5 years. It may take a couple of months because they've been thinking the same thing and you just haven't communicated about it, right? But you can go really, really far together. So great question, Pam. Thanks so much for asking that. Just a couple of suggestions. Somebody said Money Manager app is awesome. Thanks for adding that. Yeah, Ben said same question from Pam. So yeah, just have the conversation. Start talking about money. Stop making money a taboo subject in the house, right? Start saying, hey, I'm learning some new things about money. It'd be great if we could get on the same page with this thing about money, and we can do some serious damage together. Hey, here's a couple that I listen to about money that talks about money. Do you want to watch this couple with me or listen to this couple with me? And as they're, they say, oh, yeah, I'll watch it. No big deal. They start watching. And then next thing you know, hey, I like Dave Ramsey. I like Smart Money Bro. Can you want to listen to what he says about couples and money? Yeah, okay, I'll listen to it. I don't care, but I'll listen to it. And so now you're planting some seeds, and hopefully now something will begin to change. You guys can look at moving forward and putting together an action plan together. Should you keep a portion of your emergency fund at home? If so, and how much? Wait a minute. Mrs. Moore asking a question. I appreciate it, Mrs. Moore. Thank you so much for the question. I would say no. I wouldn't keep my emergency money in my home. And I know this came up recently in the trial that you were at that in your city there in Atlanta with the DA, where she said she kept a lot of money in her home or something. I was checking that out. No, I wouldn't keep a whole bunch of money in my house. No, I wouldn't. Maybe if you have if I do the cash envelope system, so I have a tiny bit of cash, but I wouldn't. No, I would not unless you do the envelope system, right? That's the only reason I would say you would keep cash, but I wouldn't say keep a big stash of cash in your home. No, go ahead and put it in a high yield savings account, right? For safety purposes. And you don't want to have and just, you want to get some return on that money too. You don't have to, but you might want to. So I would say, no, don't do that. I wouldn't suggest that unless you're doing the envelope system and then you keep what's in the envelopes, which typically won't be a whole ton of money anyway, right? Great question, though. Let's see. How do you get? Okay, so being asked the same question. I'm sorry, Pam. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat, Pam. Appreciate you, and caught your son's interest. Awesome. Let me just highlight that. Pam said, "Great info as always. Your words caught my son's interest." I'm not sure how old your son is, but that's excellent. Any young person listening to this stuff, man, get this stuff as young as possible. Somebody said, what's the best savings account? High yield savings accounts. I mean, you type in HYSA and there's a lot of them out there, right? Into your Google. There's a lot of them. People like the Marcus Goldman, people like SoFi. There's a bunch of them. But I think I've heard good stuff about SoFi. You might check out what their current high yield savings account rates are right now. Remember, HYSA savings account returns are always variable. So they change, right? Might be 4.5 right now, but in 6 months, it might be 2.5. We don't know yet. It's going to change. Somebody said YouTuber Wodamaya is proud of Africa. I like Wodamaya. I've watched a lot of his stuff. He's a great guy. I like watching his stuff. Yeah, he's got a big channel too. Let's see here. You should be able to get healthcare through the marketplace. Let's see. How can someone know if their taxes would be garnished? Is there a way to find out if they could happen if you're still waiting on a check? You might want to check with your IRS. Check with the IRS to see. The IRS is not somebody you want to owe. Oh, one of my other biggest mistakes in the world, let me tell you this, is when I was audited by the IRS because of my eBay business. I didn't properly keep all of my records. I threw them away. And then when the IRS came back to look at my eBay business for some reason, I didn't have all of my records. So I had to negotiate back and forth with the IRS, and they ain't fun to negotiate with. I had to give them what I had, but most of the stuff I threw out. Silly me. And so I ended up owing the IRS a bunch of money, right? Probably close to $20,000 because of how I did stupid stuff and I had the wrong person doing my taxes. So that's another big mistake. I like to keep it real with you on here. No secrets here about that stuff. So how can you tell if they're going to be garnished? You need to check with the IRS. Set up a payment plan with the IRS. But the IRS ask a whole bunch of, they take a whole bunch of interest out, right? Let's see here. Somebody said, I feel bad for people in the U.S. when you get sick. Most of us in other countries get free health care. Yep. No free health care in America, unfortunately, at this point. Somebody said, let's see here. Somebody said, did you ever look into QGRW ETF by Wisdom Tree? It's very early, Gold rated by Morningstar, and it's early. I just got listed on two different. It just got listed on two different stock exchanges. Good point. Q. Let me write them down real quick. Give me a second here. I told you, I'm a pen and paper guy. QGRW. We'll check them out and do a little research on that. Thanks, boss. I appreciate you for bringing that out. For veterans, garden, major proceed. Liquidity. I don't have any debt. Never bought a home. Can I or should I use an FHA loan to buy a duplex? I'm not sure what those recommendations. Let me just do a Google. I'll just Google it real quick. I'm not sure about that question. The first thing came up that says owner occupant. You can get an owner occupant. FHA will allow you to buy a duplex as long as you live in one unit. So I think you can. I think you can. You can do a little more research, but I think you can. Good question. Let's see here. If I could meet 3 people in history, who would it be? Wow, that's an interesting question. Who would I meet in history? My goodness. That's a tough question. Maybe I would go back and meet Moses. Right? Moses. Right? Or a young Yeshua, Jesus Christ, right? A young Moses, somebody from the biblical times, right? That played a pivotal role. Maybe I would go back and meet King Mansa Musa from the Mali Empire of West Africa. King Mansa Musa. Maybe I would meet that person. The third person would have to be an ancestor of mine specifically. Somebody that I can't find information on from the mid to early 1800s, right? From my personal lineage that I have had a hard time finding information on. That might be 3 people I would go back in history to meet, right? Great question. Wow, that makes you think right there. Woo. Let's see here. Let's see here. I'm skipping a couple of them, but that's okay. I'm trying to catch up. Let's see here. JL Collins, yes, great read. The Simple Path to Wealth. Hey, from Maryland, Aldo, good to have you here. A geriatric millennial is an older millennial who was born on the cusp. What is the cusp of being Gen X? 1990? I'm not sure. Help me out. Don't tell us you keep anything at home. We don't want to know what you keep at home. That's dangerous. Okay, unless I'm the president with 24/7 security, that money is staying in the bank. Okay, Johnny said, I'm 27 and live mostly in a frugal life. Would it be wise to pause the hustle for a bit? When you say wise to pause the hustle for a bit, would it be wise to pause the hustle for a bit? Don't want to hurt the compounding of the assets by a lot. When you say pause the hustle, are you talking about getting extra incomes and so forth? If that's what you're talking about, you're 27, you're young, you got a long way to go. I think at 27, you want to be working on those skills. You want to be working on making sure you got good, high-paying skills that when you turn 37, you can parlay into lots of money. I don't care if it's entrepreneurial, whatever it may be, but working on those skills is huge at an early age. Do I have any advice for Canadian people? All of this advice is for Canadian people. Everything we're talking about, really about how to manage money, how to handle money, is all about anywhere. I don't care if you live in Sri Lanka, Madagascar, right? Cayman Islands, right? I don't care. It doesn't matter. I think all of this advice on how to manage money and take care of money, I think it all reverts to all of us, guys. So I hope that helps. Albuquerque, New Mexico. Glad to have you here. Good to be here. Struggling to get free health care in the UK. Not sure how I can help you with that. Larry, I might have skipped over it. Go back and put it in there again. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get to a bunch of them, and there's no Q in front of them, so it's tough to see what's a question and what's not a question. What advice do I have for those starting out on YouTube? What specific things did you do to succeed at content creation? Okay, that's a great question because a lot of people want to start a YouTube channel. Okay, what advice do I have? Advice number 1, be consistent. Advice number 2, figure out why you're doing it. What is the end goal? Are you doing it just to make money and become monetized? Are you doing it because you really want to help people? You really want to share something with people, right? Another piece of advice for YouTube. Learn how to edit so you can edit your first few videos. Also, get comfortable talking in front of a camera. Practice. Go get you a Facebook group, start a Facebook group, and start doing lives in the Facebook group so you can understand and get comfortable in front of a camera. Let's see here. When it comes to writing, always have an idea what you want to say, but don't be a word for word person. Feel free to go off the cuff and just say what's on your mind sometime. Be open, be honest, and try to build a community. Be open, be honest, and try to build a community. People can see through when you're not genuine. People can see it. It comes across on camera when you're just like it comes across on camera when you're a bad actor. It comes across on camera when you're not genuine and not being honest. And the other thing I want to say about building a YouTube channel is don't be stuffy unless you're naturally stuffy, right? But be yourself, right? I could put on a suit and tie, which I'm used to, right? I've been a pretty professional person most of my life, right? Meaning I've sat on boards, high boards, right? I've been on boards. I've been in high places. I say sort of high places, but I'm used to negotiating and navigating myself with a tie and a sport coat and all that kind of stuff. Yes, but when I come to YouTube, I want to let my hair down. I don't have any hair, right? But I want to kind of loosen up, and I just want to be myself. So when you start a YouTube channel, just be yourself. Don't try to be anything different. Just be who you are. If you're a naturally corny person, be corny. If you're a natural person that likes to wear, just be yourself is the kicker, right? Don't be just because the sauce, the secret sauce to being successful on YouTube is your uniqueness. Your unique, who you are as a unique person is your sauce, your secret sauce to really anything. But specifically on YouTube, just be who you are. Don't worry about being the person that other people will like, because when you be who you are, your people will gravitate towards you. Who you're trying to reach and touch and who likes you, they're going to gravitate towards you, right? And so don't be afraid to do lives. Listen, I did lives for many years when I had 3 people in the lives, many years. Probably a year and a half, almost 2 years. I did lives with 3 people in it, right? JT Coin Rings was one of them. I did lives with nobody in it. So, but again, you have to be just yourself, and you have to be willing to take the chance, to grasp the opportunity, and just start the YouTube channel. That's my advice. But if you have a specific question, ask a specific question. I can dig more deeper. So, somebody said, I've never been to the UK. No, never been to the UK. That's a question, Larry. What health insurance options are available for people who retire before 65 without the option of getting under their spouse's health insurance plan? There's some, you got to do your research on that. We can Google that and look that up, but I'm not sure. So Larry, I'm not sure about that question. That's a good question. I'm just not sure. I wish I had another answer to that, Larry, but I don't. I'd have to do my research on that. But there are some opportunities for people to actually get insurance other than their spouses. Let's see here. Larry Young said something there pretty important. Go back and check that out. Yeah, 27 is pretty young. Let's see here. Somebody said, somebody said, I don't want to go back and meet ladies. I would. I mean, I'd like to have a conversation with Nefertiti, right? But yeah, my top 3 would be those folks I mentioned probably. But one of them, Elvira or Alvira, one of the ladies might be an ancestor that I can't find any information on, right? I can't find any information on Matt Ross out of Mississippi on the 1880 census. I've been looking for her forever. Can't find anything on her. So it could be that. Could be a lady there. Let's see here. We have some, I don't know what that means. Let's see here. Somebody said, do people from my job follow my YouTube channel? I think a couple of them do. Here's the funny thing about when you are on social media, and I have a pretty large social media presence. So if you, and I like to say this too, guys, I'm trying to grow my Instagram. So everybody in the chat, go over to Instagram if you have it and look up Smart Money Bro and make sure it's spelled Smart Money Bro. I've got about 1,200, 1,300 subscribers over on, or not subscribers, but followers on Instagram. I'm trying to grow it. So go follow me on IG as well. But follow the right one, because there's all type of weird people out here who make channels just like your channel, which is strange to me. But on IG, check me out over there. But when you have a large social media presence, like I've got 20-something thousand, 24,000 people that's connected to me on LinkedIn, right? When you have that large presence, there are people that are watching you that know you, and you just don't know they're watching you. So maybe I do have people. I know at least one or two people that follow my YouTube channel. I know at least two that follow my YouTube channel that I work with, right? But I don't mind, because everything I do on YouTube is outside of my work hours and all that good stuff. And maybe they need help too. I don't mind helping them as well, right? But you have to get over this idea that people are going to see me. And I don't want people to see me who I knew 20 years ago. This will be in the back of your head when you start a YouTube channel, or when you get a larger YouTube or larger presence on Facebook. Like I have a Facebook page called Smart Money Bro, and I have a Facebook group, private group called Smart Money Bro on YouTube, on Facebook. I have a Twitter or X account, Smart Money Bro. And people who know you or knew you from 20 years ago, I've had some of my students from back in the 90s. I used to teach middle school back in the 90s, and I used to coach a lot of middle school, high school boys basketball. I've had some old basketball players and some old students say, hey, Mr. Bowie, I didn't know you had a YouTube channel. Hey, how you doing? This is so-and-so. Okay, cool. Hey, and I appreciate them reaching out to me. It's wonderful, wonderful to see somebody you had in 7th grade who's now 40 years old, right? And in some ways, I'm still teaching, right? I'm still teaching to them by helping them with their money. But this thing is bigger than, being worried about who knows me and who doesn't know me on YouTube. I'm trying to help people, and I'm trying to help millions and millions and millions of people. And if one or two or four of them are from the job that I have, all the better. I can help them out too, right? They need help too, right? And I'm okay with somebody seeing me do what I do other than my job. That's okay to me. I have no problem, but you got to get over that. That's a hump you got to get over if you want to have a large YouTube presence, or you want to have a larger YouTube channel. And somebody said a lot of scammers out there. Yes, tons and tons of scammers out there. Somebody says for your one-on-one mentoring or coaching, we just click the link and it'll bring up your info. Yes, just click on that link in the description box here on YouTube. It'll bring up my page that I have, and it talks about what I can help you with. And then there's an enroll button there. You can pay there. My schedule's on there. You can do all that. Or you can go to my website, smartmoneybro.com, and it will say coaching. Tap on that button. It'll take you to the page. And the platform I use to host my coaching is Teachable. Great platform. Been using them for years. And they're great. I mean, they're very easy to use, etc. So you can find all that information in the description box. I really strongly believe that personal finance is personal. What the art of war needs, Finland wildlife clips doesn't need. What Larry Barbie needs is different than what Alvira needs, right? Everybody's needs are a little bit different. And I think there's a few things in finances, personal finances, that's absolutes. But I think the rest of the stuff really depends on your situation, where you are, how old you are, your risk tolerance, how much are your expenses, and what you bring in, what you don't bring in, what your capabilities are, there's so many variables. That's why I decide to help people one-on-one, because people have different situations. And if you click on the schedule link, I have an opportunity. You guys can just have a 30-minute conversation with me, right? It's in the schedule as well. You can join this channel and have 15 to 20-minute conversations with me once a month. So I don't mind helping people on a one-on-one basis. Some people say this, man, you'd make a whole lot more money if you just do a seminar, a webinar, and just charge people $49 to come in, $50 to come into the webinar, and you can get a whole bunch of people and do the same thing. I know I could do that. Bring in 200 people and just have a conversation about around money or whatever, I could do that. But for now, and I may do that. If you guys have noticed, you probably haven't noticed this, but I don't talk much about real estate anymore on my channel. Now, if I dig into real estate, I may do a open forum real estate where you have to pay $10, $20, $30 to get into that. I may do it. I'm thinking about doing it in a few months where we just hash through how to buy your first rental property. And we just dig into the minutia of how to do it and make it a paid webinar where it costs $10 or $20 to get into, right? And we dig through everything because I'm real thorough when it comes to real estate, but I don't talk very much about it on my channel anymore. And that's why Art of War said, I want to invest in real estate. Art of War, let's have a conversation. Feel free to sign up, go to my schedule, figure out which one you want to do, or click on the one-on-one link down there and we can dig into it deeply. Great question. Thanks for asking that. Let's see here. How do I email me? Oh, my email. Go to YouTube. Click on the about section of YouTube, and you'll see my email address where you can email me, Larry. Let's see here. Do you know a good financial coach who's well versed in the Thrift Savings Plan? You're talking to him, Kimmy. I've been in the Thrift Savings Plan for 22 years. 22 years. I've had a Thrift Savings Plan. I'm your Thrift Savings guy, right? G fund, F fund, C fund, I fund, whatever it may be, international, whatever. Yes, I can help you in that area. I am well versed in the Thrift Savings Plan. Now, there's a guy I want you to watch though, Kimmy. I'm gonna give you another channel. Let me pull him up real quick because I like to give out really good information. Because he gives great information about the TSP. And Kimmy, I want you to watch his channel, okay? Mhm. Here, let me pause that. The name of his channel is Hall's Federal Advisors. I'm gonna put it in the chat for you. Hall's HAWS. I put it in the chat. Okay. Go to his YouTube channel. He has great YouTube videos that will help you and answer questions about the TSP. But if you want to talk to somebody one-on-one, you can always reach out to me. I can help you out as well. I hope that answered your question there, Kimmy. Let's see here. Boom, boom, boom. Hey, no cursing. Come on, Wallamala. Is it Wallamala? Nice name. No cursing in the chat. Come on now. Keep it clean. Mrs. Moore said that's a great idea. A real estate webinar. Yeah, because that's the thing. There's a lot of people that are subscribed to my channel who aren't necessarily into real estate. Then there's some people that are into real estate, right? So I want to help those folks into real estate, but how do I help them? Well, I dig really deep into real estate. So I don't want to do a whole bunch of YouTube videos about real estate because it's not really on in my area that we've been talking about for the last 6 months, right? So I may end up doing that, guys. And if you're interested in real estate, maybe you can drop a comment in there and say, hey, yeah, I'm interested in that or something like that. I might put something out on the community tab, but yeah, we'll see. In the next couple of months, I think I'm going to do that. Instead of doing a YouTube YouTube video about real estate, I might just do a video for members only, or I might just do a video where that says, hey, you got to register to sign up for this this YouTube video or this video in general. It may not even be on YouTube. Who knows? I'll figure it out, but I appreciate it. Somebody said, is real estate investing better than the stock market? Man, depends. All right. Depends on what you want, what you're looking for. I say do both, but is one better than the other? Not necessarily. There's pros and cons to each. Okay, Davion. I hope I'm saying it right. Davion or Davion. I say Davion. There's pros and cons to each. Okay. So something in my eye. I love real estate investing. I love it. I'm a long-term guy. I love long-term real estate. Right. I only have 2 pieces of rental property plus a personal property, and I got some land somewhere. Not much land, less than an acre. But I would love to get some more real estate at some point here in the next few years. Right. I think I will get some more real estate. But I like the stock market as well. Love the stock market as well. Stock market's great, been great to me. I'm a long-term investor, so both work well. When I look at my net worth statement, man, that net worth statement looking good on the asset side. That real estate really helps it out. Right now, I think about 40 to 45% of our portfolio is in real estate. Right. I like real estate a lot. But it's one better than the other. There's pros and cons to both. But in the end, both are great to have. Hey, Deerfield Beach, thanks for being here, Deanna. Good to have you. Having difficulty finding my email address. Man, the reason I'm not putting my email address in the chat is because I want you to go search for it, because I don't just want to drop it in the chat with 100 people in the chat, because I get a whole bunch of emails. So and a lot of it goes to spam, unfortunately. I don't know why, but on my YouTube channel, if you go to my links, 6 more links. Is it in there? Maybe it's not in there. Doop, 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 doop. No, it's not in there. I thought it was in there. I thought I had my email address in there, right? I'm looking. You can also go to my website, smartmoneybro.com, and you can reach me through there. smartmoneybro.com. Go to that website and you can contact me. Go to the footer page of that website, or you can just go to resources and click on contact, and you can contact me there. Okay. I don't mean to make you work so hard to contact me, but I just don't want to put it out here in this chat. Let's see here. Perfect. You don't talk too much about it, so I wasn't sure about. Oh yeah, I know a lot about the TSP, Kimmy Apple. Been in it for years and years and years and years. Been heavy in it. I've been heavy in it recently in the last 5-6 years. Heavy. Mrs. Moore said I would attend. Okay, great, Mrs. Moore. That's good to know. I just subbed to my Instagram. Yeah, my IG is out there. Hit that up, guys. Let's see here. Stock market, a little more passive. Yep, stock market is a lot more passive than real estate. Absolutely. Good point. I appreciate you saying that. You're right. Stock market is much more passive. Somebody said, thank you for the content. Got to go. Good to have you, Alvira. Check me out tomorrow. I may do a live tomorrow. I got a new video that's going to be coming out tomorrow as well. Let's see here. I said Davion. Okay, right every time. Excellent. Southwest Michigan checking in. Looking forward to hearing more about real estate investment. Yes. Let's see here. Boom. I understand. Okay, checking in from South Georgia. Good to have you. I got family from Georgia as well. Yeah, thanks for understanding that, Larry. I appreciate you understanding that. Yeah, I just don't want to put it out here, because if I put it out here on the chat, it's going to be out here, and I don't really want that out there like that. That might be why I took it off my YouTube page. But you go to my smartmoneybro.com, you'll see it there. So, hey, I don't want to hold you guys up. I've been on here a long time, a long live. Sometimes it's a fun live, but I appreciate being here. I'm glad to be here. It's been wonderful just having a regular guy's advice on life and money. It's always fun to get in here and answer some questions from you guys. I hope I was able to answer your questions on this live. Good question, William. Let me just go through William's question real quick. I don't want to leave here with that. What type of work can I do now if I'm the primary caregiver of young children and a chronically ill spouse? Sorry to hear about that, Will. Or should I sit 2 or 3 years on the sidelines until the kids are older? That's a really tough question, because I don't know the exact situation. How old are the kids? William, maybe you can start a YouTube channel talking about your situation. Hey, William, there's other people that are in your situation with young kids and a chronically ill spouse, or who are the caregiver of a chronically or a caregiver of an older parent, right? They have their parent that's moved in, and they still have younger kids they have to take care of, and they're trying to balance all that out. Frustration here and there, trying to manage it. Maybe you start a YouTube channel talking about your situation and what's going on. There's some things you can do from home to make extra money as well. But the kicker is take care of home first, right? Make sure nothing's being neglected in terms of your children and your spouse. As long as you can take care of them and maybe even with their blessing and help, and you do it as a family, right? Hey, I'm trying to make some extra money as a family. What can we all do to pitch in and help to bring in some extra income as a group? Maybe it's a rallying cry or a time to rally behind and with all the folks that are around you to make something work, to start something new, right? Or maybe you just need a stress break and not try to worry about the grind and hustle and just take care of the kids, just take care of the spouse until they get a little older. So it's really that's a really a personal question. I'd have to have a one-on-one with you to really give you the answer or to come to the answer that I think would be best for you. Because I'd ask you a whole bunch of questions, and based on the answers to those questions, we would figure this out together, what might be the next move for you. And then, of course, are you in a situation financially where you need to do something to bring in extra money? If you're not, cool, chill. If you are, we could explore some of those ways that you could do it in a more of a stress-free manner, or in a manner, again, that might be inclusive of everybody that's in the household to help out. Because there's a lot of people, William, who have that situation that you're talking about. And I think there's a lot of people that would gravitate towards you and that scenario. So I would think about that, William, in a way, in a more holistic way, but I'd have to have more information to really answer that question for you. Curtis said, awesome, quick Q&A. Appreciate that, Curtis. Somebody said, do more lives. Yeah, we'll see. Somebody said, what are my current goals? Yeah, William, let me go back to William. William, yes, a one-on-one would be great. And William, if you just join this channel, you can do a one-on-one with me for as little as $25 a month. If you pay $25 a month, you just join this channel and we do a one-on-one, and 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes, but I talk a lot, so I normally stay on there for 30 minutes, but I listen a lot too, right? I spend the first few minutes, make sure I listen to what you're saying. So yeah, I think that'd be great, William, because I'd really like to tackle that question in a more succinct, specific manner for you. And in terms of what are my goals, Walla Mala, I like that name, the Walla Mala. What are my current goals? One of my current goals is to help 100 million people on YouTube. Help 100 million people on YouTube. Right now, I'm at 7 million all-time views on YouTube. I want to get that number to 100 million in the next year. 1 year. That means this time next time next year in February, right? 1 year from February, I want to have 100 million views. That's a goal. Big goal. But hey, I get to make my goals up, so I make them big, right? And I just work to get them done. May not reach them, but what did the great Les Brown say? Shoot for the moon, and if you don't make it, at least you land among the stars, right? So that's a big goal of mine in terms of YouTube. That's why I tell you guys, share this video, share this information. When you go on YouTube, guys, when you go to my description box or you go to my channel on YouTube, take one of those videos that you really like, share it with people that you think could use the information. That's the best way to help this channel out, is to share this information. Okay. Let's see here. As always, great job. Thank you, Lyle. My guy Lyle is in the house. I appreciate you, man, more than you know. Lyle, I do have a couple of my ancestors that I'm stuck on, man. We got to get together so I can ask you those questions, because I'm stuck. I don't know what to do, where to look, etc. Somebody said, has I ever thought about doing a podcast? Yes, I thought about doing a podcast. I just don't know how to do a podcast. And I got so many irons in the fire, if that's the right way to put it, that I don't know how to do a podcast. I'm learning all kind of stuff, but a podcast hasn't been one of them. Are my books in audio version with your voice reading them? No, they are not. But thank you, Kimmy Apple. Yes, I've actually read audiobooks for some people. So yeah, I've used my voice. All right, Lyle, be looking for me to contact you, man. I appreciate you. Hey, guys, as I always say, thank you so much for being here. Check out the videos. Check out the stuff in the description box. And also, as I always say, the best person who's going to take care of the old you is the young you. Take good care of yourself. Take care of other people. Until the next video, peace.